Joey, you said you're taking like a history class, right?
Yeah, I'm a history major actually.
Sweet. What's your favorite like time period?
My favorite time period of history.
Yeah.
Um, Honestly, just because you never hear about it, I think like pre-colonial African history is sick.
Okay. That's not what we're gonna be talking about, but
I don't imagine. It's not a very popular one.
yeah. No, we're going for the most popular one.
Oh,
Like,
oh, oh, European war history.
yeah, but not World War II.
Oh shit.
The other really popular European one.
World War One.
No, we're talking about Rome
Oh, oh, oh,
Oh shit.
because
oh. Okay.
apparently there's a bunch of people on the internet that are autistically all about Rome. So I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if anyone here was like that.
No, Rome has a cult following though. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, there is still a cult of modern day Rome meat riders out there. So,
It's wild.
yeah. All right. So, I mean, like I'm one to talk. I'm about to aggressively ride this guy's meat for the next hour. So,
Get on it. Hop
all right,
on.
all right, all right. We're gonna be talking about Crassus.
What?
Okay, so there
That
was a
name sounds
dude.
familiar.
Yeah. He goes on to be important. All right, so this guy is like he was really the guy that invented the entering public office just to get filthy fucking rich. Like he kind of invented that.
Entrepreneur.
Massive brain on this dude.
Yeah, all right. So, essentially he's born probably like 60, maybe 80 BC. And his parents are rich and he's got two brothers. Unfortunately, the brothers are not going to be sticking around very long. The first brother dies.
Important question.
Yeah, what's up?
Does he make it to AD?
I
Oh,
don't.
shit.
I don't think so.
Rip my man.
Damn it.
I don't think so. No. So he's got his brothers. They grow up. His brother marries this woman and then dies. And then Crassus is like, "Don't worry, bro, I got it." And then he marries his brother's widow.
Yep.
And they
Big brain.
have two kids.
They call him Mr. Right now.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, "Okay, well, listen, my brother's not here, but I am."
Let me hit.
Yeah, and it works. He just rizzes her up or something. I don't know. So then his other brother is killed in this like crazy civil war thing that's going on. Basically, this is there's a guy called Sulla who is basically leading this coup against Rome, and him and this other faction have been fighting. And his brother and his dad are both killed for supporting like Sulla's side.
Oh shit.
Damn.
That
Roll 'em
does,
smoke.
yeah, that does, however, mean he gets the full inheritance because he's the only living man in his family left. It's him, his mom, and his brother's widow. So
W
he
man.
inherits 300 talents of silver.
Is that a lot?
Yeah, what
Yeah,
does
so,
that mean?
yeah. So talent was a unit of weight, and silver is just whatever the value of silver is. So one talent is roughly like $27,000 to $29,000, and he inherited
Holy
300 of those. So
Shit.
so his parents die, and he inherits $8.6 million current day.
Damn. That's plenty of money
So-
for drugs and hookers.
That would be right. He's already like set. Like, bro, you're
Yeah.
already
Drugs
married.
and hookers.
Yeah, yeah, you're already married. You got a wife and kids, and 8 million in the bank. The problem is his family being killed for supporting Sulla. He is next on the list, so he has to flee Rome, and unfortunately, he loses all of his inheritance in doing that.
Damn.
So he goes to Hispania, and he has to live in a fucking cave so that no one can find him.
Damn, they really want, bro. The
Yeah.
beef really runs this deep.
Yeah, but he wasn't just living in a cave and doing nothing. He was biding his time. So he's living in this cave, and he is building an army
brainy.
to go back and fuck up those guys that took Rome from Sulla, the guy that his parents liked.
Mm-hmm.
So he builds up this army, and then he's about ready to march on Rome. And then he's contacted by Sulla, and Sulla's like, "Yo, you got that army. I have my army. Let's fucking do this."
No way he said run it.
Yeah. And then he said, "Wait, there's another dude. His name is Pompey, and he's got an army, and he's a supporter. So all three of us can go fuck some shit up." And he's like, "Okay, bet. Let's do it." So the three of them team up and they go to get Rome back. The fight starts, and they're all basically in charge of their own like wing. So Crassus is on the right, Sulla's probably in the middle, and Pompey's on the left. And while the middle and the left were kind of like not getting anything done, like they were kind of just fighting at a loss, Crassus like completely overwhelms the right side and just fucking wins the battle basically just through that. Like his side wins so hard that they're able to collapse down on everyone else and retake Rome.
W.
Like mega minding.
Yeah. So he pulls up with 2 other generals, and his army is the most successful there.
He really said, "I solo. Y'all are just here for the decoration."
Exactly. And they did
Carrying.
they did get decorated. So Sulla is in charge again, and Sulla's like, okay, listen, we're gonna take all of the shit from these guys, and we're gonna just put it up for auction, all of their land, all of their everything. And Crassus is like, well, I did just lose $8.6 billion or $1 million, so, you know, I should probably get in on that. So he ends up buying a bunch of this real estate, like, dirt cheap, because it's being auctioned from fucking being stolen from enemies.
Yeah, and he's the one stealing it, right? So, like, he could probably just take some.
Sort of, yeah. Yeah, he was rewarded with some, and then he uses that money to buy even more.
Okay.
So he's basically rich again. It didn't take very long. Like, he lost all of it, but he got it back, like, within a couple years.
Yeah, brother grinder.
Yeah, he was actually such a grinder.
The glove is big.
Yeah, his grind was so funny. So here's the thing. Weird common theme throughout all of these historical hustlers. They really like banging their cousins for some reason. That's something I noticed.
Dude,
like,
yeah.
every time I'm looking into one, they're like, and then he had a hot love affair with his cousin. And I'm like, bro, why is it every time?
Breeding like 11 children.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is, if I want to be a big brain motherfucker,
Yeah.
I should find my cousin and be like, "What's up?"
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. If you're trying to really like make something of your life, slide into your cousin's DMs. That's what's really important. That's the message you can take from all this. So his cousin,
Common denominator.
Yeah.
I think that clearly
For real.
must stand for something.
yeah, I mean it's only like every powerful, famous, rich man from history did that. So I mean,
Yeah. Even the artsy ones, bro. Edgar Allan Poe did it. Like,
yeah, and dude, and she was underage. She was like 14.
yeah, like,
wasn't
if you want to be
even
good at
a-
anything, you gotta fuck your cousin. That's just the rules.
Yeah, like for some reason it just makes you better at stuff. Like you're just like that. I guess if you're just willing to like fuck your cousin, you're just wild.
Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. So his cousin is a Vestal Virgin. So his cousin is like, she's part of some sort of religious ceremony, and being a part of it means that she's basically a nun. Like, she's super important for ceremonial reasons, but she can't be fucking anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And they keep seeing the two of them hanging out. And they're like, hey, bro, this whole hanging out with your Vestal Virgin cousin all the time thing is kind of suspect. What's going on there? And then they ask them, and they're like, oh, no, it's nothing weird. Like, we wouldn't do that. I've been trying to buy her villa outside of town for the past, like, few months. Like, he actually was not trying to smash at all. He was just doing it for the business. Like,
Rare alpha incest.
Yeah, he was like, no, I actually don't want the cousin pussy. I would rather just buy her house.
I mean, safe bet.
Yeah, so for the first time in history, he did not smash his cousin and go on to succeed.
W.
Yes.
So then he comes up with his actual gigamind strategy to make even more money. So he has a decent amount of money and real estate at this point. So he goes and he buys a bunch of slaves. As you do.
As one does. Yeah,
Yeah.
as one does.
I mean, yeah.
As a capitalist would.
Yeah, it's ancient Rome. They're slaves. You have money. You buy slaves. Duh.
Yeah.
So part of that is apparently it was super common in Rome for buildings to burn down. Like,
Didn't they have like firelight? Like, wasn't that their thing?
Yeah, I'm sure if all of their houses were being lit by candles and shit, like, there were probably a lot of fires, especially because, like, the fire department wasn't, like, a thing yet.
Yeah.
So he decides...
Wee-woos?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, he decides to take his band of big fucking burly slaves and give them all a bucket of water and they just wait. And then a fire starts, and this guy is like, basically this was the strategy. Someone's house would catch fire, and then he would pull up with all of his slaves with buckets of water. And then the guy who owns the house would be like, oh my god, Crassus, thank god you're here. You have all these slaves. Could you put out the fire? And he's like, well, no, see, they're my private firefighting company. So, like, they'll only do it if one of my properties catches fire. If my property was on fire, they would put it out. He's like,
that's devious.
Yeah, he's like, wait, bro, what are you talking about? But my house is on fire. And he's like, yeah, no, they're just here in case that spreads to one of my properties. And he's like, well, what the fuck do I do? And he's like, well, I could buy that house from you for 5 talents of silver. And he's like, 5 talents? I bought it for 15. And he's like, you bought it when it wasn't on fire. The value of your house is going down very fast. I suggest you take 5 talents for it. Like, it was worth 15 when there was no fire.
Yeah. There's not going to be house left, bro.
Yeah. So then basically you either have to sell your house to him for fucking a fraction of what it's worth, or just let it burn down. And then if you do sell him the house, then he'll put the fire out and sell it back to you later.
Brutal.
Here's the thing, though. It's not like they had insurance. So your choice was negative talents because you had to buy a new house, or 5 now.
Yeah, it was like, well, I either need to buy a new house and I get nothing because my entire house is burned down, or I just, like, owe this guy a lot of money.
Dude's like the real estate final boss.
Yeah, for real. Like,
Man does not give a fuck.
Yeah, and that was just his strat. He, like, bought a ton of property like that. Like, this, they didn't patch it. Like, it just kept working. Like, I think they just kept running it, and just no one could stop him. So at this point,
glitch not patched.
Yeah, exactly. Infinite money glitch. You just need slaves with buckets of water. So
Bro's duping houses.
Yeah, so at this point,
welcome to my YouTube tutorial. This is how you get a bajillion houses in 2 weeks for free.
Bro's about to own all of Rome. Like, just start setting buildings on fire. Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do? So he has a lot of fucking money.
They like try to report you, you just set their house on fire.
Yeah, yeah. He's made a fuck ton of money at this point. But that's not enough. It's not enough to just be obscenely wealthy.
Never.
So he decides to get into politics.
Oh.
Because that's where the glory is, right? Roman politics, that was like the shit.
Mm-hmm.
And the number
Your
one
next
thing...
step.
Yeah, the number one thing that history remembers him for as a politician is that he couldn't make up his fucking mind on anything. Like, like he would be like arguing for a position, and then the next week, like, argue completely against it. Like,
was waffling.
Yeah, every account was like, yeah, like, this dude would just, if he could just talk to himself from a week ago, they would not be able to stop arguing. Like, bro cannot pick a side. So he's kind of just there, like, just to be a politician, right? Like, it's not like he feels it super strongly about any of these positions. He's just like, fuck it, whatever. That's where the glory is. But he's still not happy, because while he's been making all this money, Pompey, that general from earlier, has not been getting obscenely wealthy. He's been a general still, and he's been racking up countless military victories, which is earning him a lot more respect than Crassus has.
Yeah, especially the way he earned his money, bro.
Yeah, he's basically this loan shark that, like, finesses people out of their house. Like, that's how he's making his money, whereas Pompey is, like, conquering barbarian tribes and shit. So he's pretty jealous, to be honest. Like, he's kind of mad at Pompey for that.
He's not handling it well.
Yeah. But he's still in charge of, like, enough shit that the Senate still needs him for things. So this is one of the instances where he gets really famous. So do you guys know anything about the Spartacus slave revolts?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. If you were on the side of Spartacus in that one, like if you watched like a movie about it or something, Crassus is probably the bad guy. He's probably the villain of that story. So anyone that doesn't know, the quick version is a bunch of gladiator slaves rise up, and then they start basically terrorizing the, like, Italian countryside or whatever. And they're led by a dude called Spartacus. And the Roman Senate is like, whatever, we'll just send, like, some guys after him. And they get killed. And they go, okay, well, let's send some legions after them. They're not going to be able to kill legions. They kill a bunch of legions. And they go, all right, fuck it. We need to send the big guns. Crassus, we need you to go take care of this shit, all right, man? And he's like, okay, all right, fuck it. Yeah, I'll go do that. Because, you know, Pompey has all these fucking military victories. But if there's these, like, escaped slaves tearing shit up and I stop them, there's glory there.
Yeah, for sure.
So he pulls up and he's basically trying to chase them down, and he orders one of his legates to just take a squad and, like, just follow Spartacus just to spy on him, right? Like, just take your army and follow him for a bit, like, see where they're going, and then we'll try to, like, trap them or something. And whatever you do, don't fight them. Like, don't fight them if I'm not there. And he's like, okay, cool. And he's following him, and then he goes, wait a minute, this looks like a good opportunity to sneak attack him. So homie just runs it down anyway. So this legate just decides, fuck it, we're fighting now, and he loses horribly. So he comes back to Crassus, and he's like, sorry, dog, I lost, like, a bunch of our troops. And he's like, bro, I told you, whatever you do, don't fight him.
One other job.
Yeah, it was follow him and don't fight him. And you
Also,
fought
like,
him.
he was a professional slave fighter, and now he's beating up people and winning battles. Why would you fight him by yourself?
Yeah, he was like just some gladiator, and then he's fighting Roman legions and winning. Like, you should probably play it safe with this guy.
Yeah.
So Crassus is kind of pissed off, and he decides to indulge in the ever classic Roman tradition of decimation. So basically, he splits up the 500 guys that are still left from fighting Spartacus's guys and divides them up into groups of 10, and then has them all draw sticks, and whoever has the short stick dies, and he ends up killing one guy from each of those 10 groups. So he kills like 10% of his own guys, just as like, why the fuck did you follow? Why did you fight those guys?
That's crazy.
Doing? So now every platoon is like, well, one of you is dead now. So it's not going well at that point, but he manages to turn it around, and he basically corners Spartacus. And the strategy is, well, listen, we're way better supplied than they are, so we're just gonna like wear them down with attrition. We're just gonna like make sure that there's no supplies coming in, and eventually they will just wither and die. And it's a sound strategy that would work. The problem is Crassus receives a letter, and it means he's getting reinforcements. And he's super pissed that he's getting reinforcements.
No glory in getting helped.
Especially because the reinforcements were being led by Pompey.
This is this guy's personal insecurity that just manifested into real life.
Pompey, this whole time, was off in Hispania, like, conquering people, and then he's coming back, and the Senate was like, yo, Crassus is still fighting Spartacus, so Pompey, you get over there and help him out. And Crassus is like, fuck, dude, if Pompey gets here, and then Spartacus dies, like, then I don't get any of the glory, because then it's like, oh, well, you only won because Pompey showed up.
Yeah.
So I gotta go in now. So they fight Spartacus, they just run it down. They just rush in immediately. And it kind of works. So Spartacus dies, and they end up capturing a large amount of his army and crucifying them.
Naturally, as Romans would.
But a bunch of Spartacus's guys manage to escape. So they're all running away, and they run directly into Pompey. And Pompey kills all of them. So then Pompey writes a letter back to Rome, and he's like, yeah, so Crassus did kill Spartacus, but, like, basically I ended the war, so. Like, he gets a little bit, yeah, he gets a little bit of credit, but, like, I mean, I was the one that, like, killed the last guys.
Yeah. He said, if we're for real, it was me.
Yeah.
But we can let him have it.
Yeah. He's like, listen, I mean, I guess the one guy in charge, he did kill him, and I guess he crucified some guys, but, like, it was really, like, 80% me, 20% him. So they both go back to Rome, and they end up throwing a party for Pompey. They have a parade for this fucking guy. Crassus does not get a parade. And he can't even complain about it because it would have looked like he was just being a bitch about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, he's like super tilted. They have a triumph for Pompey. They're like, yeah, bro, finally came back. Hell yeah. And Crassus just has to sit there and be salty about it the whole time.
Bro is sick to his stomach.
He's sitting there like holding back the tears, watching everyone like fucking celebrate Pompeii for this amazing victory that he just had. And he's like, motherfucker, that was mine.
His fists are bald and shit. He's just mad as hell, bro.
Yeah. Let's see. All right. So Pompey writes the letter and he gets a triumph. But Crassus does the smart move. He doesn't complain about it. He's not going to make it a big deal that he didn't get a parade. Instead, he goes and talks to Pompey and he goes, listen, bro, I need some help, okay? I get that you and I are like rivals or whatever, but like maybe we could come to some sort of agreement where we can help each other out.
Yeah.
So the way that Rome worked at the time, like basically Pompey was kind of a shoe-in to be consul.
Mm-hmm.
Right? With all these military victories, he was like easy dub in the election for consul, but there's 2 consul seats. And he goes, well, seeing as like, you know, you kind of came in and fucking ate all my glory for killing Spartacus, like, could you endorse me for the other seat in consul?
Okay.
And
Fair ask.
Pompey's like, all right, you know what? Yeah, I'll do that. So Pompey wins, and then he endorses Crassus, and then Crassus wins. So now they're
Nice.
both consuls, and the problem is they don't agree on fucking anything, but they're just concerned with not being openly hostile to each other. So Crassus will make some sort of decision, and then like a week later, Pompey will come and undo it. Because they don't agree. But like, if you ask them about it, like, bro, how did you feel about him doing that? You'd be like, whatever, who cares? Just to keep the peace. Like, they don't agree on anything. But like, they both realize like they kind of needed each other to get there, so they're not rocking the boat at all.
A lot of passive aggressive shit going on.
Yeah. One of the reasons that Pompey even got Crassus there is because Crassus was super fucking wealthy, and it would make sense that like, okay, but if Crassus owes me a favor, that's a pretty big favor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a very valuable man to have owing you one.
Yeah.
So, the thing is, with just 2 of them, they have a decent amount of power, but not, like, all the power yet. And there's still more power for them to have.
They could never be satisfied, ever.
Yeah, there was actually a bunch of people that said that shit about Crassus. They were like, there are tons of quotes of, like, people that were recounting his life, being like, yeah, it would just never be enough for this man. This guy just, it doesn't matter, bro. He's fucking, give him
Bro's
everything.
greedy for real.
Yeah, bro, give him anything, and he'll just keep taking more and more and more.